My name is Philipp Lutzny. I'm working for ADVA Optical Networking, which is a medium-sized enterprise with roughly approaching 400 to 400 million euros in annual turnover, and we are producing infrastructure for high-speed data transmission networks.
Okay, and what would be your opinion on the importance of using performance management within the supply chain?
I think this is a fundamental part of every organization in the future, because there's a saying that says it's more that supply chains are competing than companies which are competing. I think the increased transparency in what's happening in the market and in the industries is basically continuously increasing the competition and the need to accelerate innovations, even in industries that maybe formerly haven't been touched because of, let's say, outdated business models. I mean, especially the world of e-commerce, etc., is really changing businesses which formerly have not seen this competition, that they could be overtaken by others which are really more associated with the new ways of businesses that are being run. So I guess that's a fundamental piece, and with that the supply chain is a major factor, because potentially margins are being depressed by that, and with that the supply chain piece, which is in lots of organizations creating cost. This is something that needs to be optimized to its maximum, I guess, and that's a piece which requires this performance measurement as a piece to develop a supply chain.
I see. And what would be your thoughts on using performance within the supply chain? Some tips, some advices?
I guess what is always in a lot of companies, what I guess is happening is that KPIs and performance measurement is being taken to generate data, but finally not acting on it. So I guess a big problem is that there's too much of data generated which is not really actively being managed, and I think a company needs to concentrate on the pieces which really result in tangible actions. So I think better measure less KPIs. I think at the moment in a lot of companies that it's the diverse direction. There's more KPIs being measured, but less tangible outcomes being derived out of that. So I think that's a fundamental piece to concentrate on the core and maybe getting better on a few KPIs to measure them and understanding what they mean, and then finally really act on this frequently in order to generate continuous improvement.
I do agree with you on that. And what would be some key trends for 2015 that you noticed in the supply chain?
Yeah, I guess I probably have to use the buzzword on that, which is big data. I mean, that's why I'm here at this conference, because it's hard really to find real users on this, and especially we are a medium-sized enterprise. The big trend is hopefully becoming the topic that there's burning platforms being created to develop ideas on how to use big data. And big data meaning, today we heard this is more than what one computer can calculate or in terms of data generated, but on the other side it's also for me different sources, such as data from social environments, from external sources, from inside of the organization, and to really consolidate that and get meaningful insights on that, and then again focus on the mandatory pieces instead of generating new data and new KPIs which are really just making the number of KPIs to explode. So trend is, for me the trend is big data. For me the trend is focusing on the core pieces and to generate a burning platform to finally really get a meaningful set to act upon.
Okay, and besides this difficulty in getting and adding value to the business through the data that you provide, are there any other challenges that you can see in supply chain analytics?
I guess the big challenge, which is also something that I guess most of the interviewed colleagues said, is finding the right skilled people. I guess this will become more and more difficult, because I think the conflict is between the knowledge of the business. So for example, being a supply chain person, I lack maybe the knowledge in IT, and the other way around. So I think really combining those two worlds will be, I guess, on how to get there will be the biggest challenge. So really finding people that are able to translate the business requirements into data analytics and the other way around. So I think the translation process of having people in supply chain talking to IT, that is losing a lot of momentum. So the companies that I've seen using big data so far are the ones which actually have the IT and programming and data analytics people within the operational organization, so not a separate organization, and then finding people which really can also translate on what that, with regards to the business process, really means.
Okay, and now that you've mentioned about the other companies, could you give us some examples that you consider to be
leading
companies that do really good at supply chain analytics, that can be looked as good practices?
I guess one company that is really building everything by itself is Amazon. They are running lots of translated into small companies in a big company. The data analytics, I think, are amazing. They have teams on data analytics, I guess probably since 10 years or so, where a lot of other companies are really lacking. A company that practically is using this is Jabil, which is an electronic manufacturing service provider, where I think they are leading with regards to supply chain transparency end-to-end from customer to the supplier. And those are the two I would probably specifically name. So I think that's the specific ones which I think are leading in that space.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.